Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Craig here with another live stream, a Monday live stream, happening a little bit later in the day than I tend to do these. I wanted to give other people a chance to chime in who may not have had a chance to log in previously on other live chats. So, while I am getting set, I'll just let you know what's coming up. This is especially good for, if you are happening to catch this video after we're done with the live stream. Then you'll know what's coming up. We're going to be talking about D23, that's Disney's biennial expo, in which they release all the things, and they released all the things over the weekend. So we're going to be talking about that. Not so much about the content itself, because there is, there's a lot of announcements about specific programming and, trailers and whatnot, Star Wars trailers that we probably won't get into. It's a little bit outside of our wheelhouse, but I am going to talk about what it means for Disney Plus. At least one big announcement on Disney Plus, two big announcements there that we will discuss going forward. I'm also going to talk about AT&T TV Now. In fact, I'm also going to talk about the difference between that and AT&T TV. So we're going to get into that. There's a little bit of news going on there as well, a couple of news items that we want to catch up on so that you are prepared for when the streaming wars, enter their next phase later this year and early next year when that comes up. And then lastly, I do have one interesting news item about Roku. As you may know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, I love Roku. I'm a big Roku partisan. And so anytime there's some reason that I can go congratulate them on something, I'm going to go do it. So that's what we're going on to do today. So I'm just going to go check our comments here, our live feed. Thanks everybody for joining. And let's see. So Caleb, is it going to be lit? Is that the lingo we're going with? Lit AF, something like that. Hello, Samuel. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well also. Let's see. Josiah. Hello, King Bees. Happy Monday to you as well. Hang in there. 4 more days till Friday. All right. Let's see. Okay, so Brandon wants to know, what are we going to watch on Disney Plus and HBO Max? What upcoming streaming service are you going to check out? All right, so maybe let's start there. We're going to ease into the streaming topic here with that question. So when it comes to Disney Plus, there's obviously a ton to watch. I mean, we've talked in previous streams about kind of the massive list of things that you can check out with Disney Plus, both on launch day and down the road in year 1, year 2, the stuff that they're going to be releasing. If I'm being 100% honest, I am now excited for basically 2 things. Well, mostly one thing, but maybe a second thing. I'm really excited for The Mandalorian, and I'm kind of excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing. I'm curious what you guys are interested in. There's going to be a lot of stuff that drops on Disney Plus. I think what I'm most excited for is those 2 things. Some of the older Disney movies, because I've got a couple kids, and they're just at the right age where those older animated classics are going to be right up their alley. And so I've been holding off on buying all the DVDs so that I can get Disney Plus later this year, and we can watch the classics to our heart's content. Oh, Caleb, we're going to get there. Yeah, we're going to get there in just a few moments. Let's see. Samuel, thank you. I'm glad you like the channel. Let's see. Shadow from 88, first time visitor. Glad you're here. And that's why, like I said, we're streaming at a little bit different time than we normally do. We usually go about 4 or 5 hours earlier than this, but I wanted to give other people a chance to tune in to a live stream, so I am glad you're here. Okay, so there is other content. That's what I'm most excited for, is the Star Wars stuff, but we also have Miss Marvel coming up. That is not the same as Captain Marvel, believe it or not. We've got She-Hulk, which should be interesting. Moon Knight, which I know nothing about. There's a Lady and the Tramp live-action remake, similar to the stuff that we've seen with Lion King and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and all that. There's another one of those for Lady and the Tramp, but that's going to be a Disney Plus exclusive. I believe that's dropping on day 1. I'd have to go look it up, but I believe it is. Samuel, I am glad to help you save money. That's great. I'm glad that you did. Um, let's see. So, King Bees, how many of these titles are coming year one? Well, you know what? Why don't we go have a look um, and see what we can see just on their kind of front page. So, if we go over here, this is our Disney Plus front page, and we can kind of scroll down here to see kind of what's going to go on day one. And I think so. This will give us a little bit. There will be a lot of classic Disney and Pixar. The original Star Wars trilogy will all be ready on day one. Some Marvel movies, but it is going to take a little while for a lot of the Marvel movies to drop in because they're still under contract on other streaming services, Netflix and elsewhere. And so it'll take a little while to bring all the MCU movies in. But here is where the Disney Plus originals are, and this is what you can go check out. So not all of these are available day one, but if you go in here on that front page of Disney Plus, you can click into what you're most interested in and see whether it is available on day one. I know the Jeff Goldblum thing is, The Mandalorian is, Lady and the Tramp, but things like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you can actually see how these ones have pages that I could click into if I wanted to go see something about Lady and the Tramp. But the other ones are not. They do not have pages yet for you to click into. So you can go check that out and see, what it is that you are most excited for. So let's see. I'm just going to pop over and catch up with the comments really quickly. So, Polecat 5150, Disney should skip everything and get right to shooting the Obi-Wan series. That's what we want. If you want me to opine just a little bit on the content itself, I'll go ahead and do that. Here's my opinion. I'm excited for The Mandalorian, especially because The Mandalorian is not tied to the, not tightly tied to the original stuff, the main storyline stuff. There's no Skywalkers, there's nothing like that. And this is what I was most excited for when Disney took over Lucasfilm, is I wanted them to get to some other stuff, some other stories that would be interesting to tell. And so The Mandalorian really fits that bill. What I'm a little bit concerned about with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is that, it is really tied in, obviously, with the original storyline. So that being said, I love Ewan McGregor, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job. So I'm very interested to see what they do with it. If you go read some of the novels and comic books that are now canon with Star Wars, that'll give you a clue of what may be coming up with that TV series. Okay, so let's talk about two major announcements from Disney regarding Disney Plus that came out around D23 within the last week or so. So the first one is this, and I'll address the question that a couple of you have had already. Will series content drop all at once like Netflix, or will it drop weekly? It will, in fact, go weekly. So all of this content that you're seeing here, all the Star Wars stuff, all the High School Musical stuff, the Jeff Goldblum things, this is not going to be the Netflix way of doing things where they just give you an entire season all at once. This is going to be week by week by week. They're going to release another episode here, another episode a week later. So there are a few, you can decide whether you like it that way or not, but what it does for Disney Plus is, of course, it creates a longer tail of content. So if you are enjoying a show, you're going to stay subscribed for longer. And then they will, I'm sure, stagger releases for different series so that there's always something that you're interested in that's, you got to keep watching week after week. So from a business perspective, it makes a ton of sense. I know for some of us, we prefer that way of watching, I'm excited for Game of Thrones every Sunday night, and so I got to tune in every Sunday night. And it creates potentially a sort of buzz that we might otherwise lack if it drops all at once. But, some of us prefer to binge things right straight through, and so you get to decide whether that's good for you, but I can guarantee it's good for Disney. It's that will do well for them. Okay, and then the other big announcement right now is this is, again, it's big announcement. It's a big announcement for us. There's all the content stuff that they announced, and that's all amazing. The Star Wars trailer was fun and all that stuff. But for our purposes, with what we usually review on this channel, service itself, they did drop one detail, and that is about simultaneous streams. This is a question I've had since they started talking about Disney Plus. They will now have, or they've announced that they'll have 4 simultaneous streams that will be available in 4K and HDR at no additional cost. No additional cost. So $6.99 a month or $69.99 a year, and you get what you would need to pay Netflix $16 a month to get. So if you recall, Netflix has 3 different plans. I think it's $8.99 plan is standard definition, 1 stream, and then you've got to upgrade to the $13 package if you want HD and 2 simultaneous streams. And then you've got to upgrade again to the $16 a month package if you want 4 simultaneous streams plus 4K plus HDR. So this seems like it's almost like a direct shot right at Netflix, where they can stack them right up next to each other and see, look, they do that, and so do we for $10 a month less. So it's a really interesting. It just seems like a gut punch aimed right at Netflix with that different price point for the same thing. Now, that being said, there is the bundle to consider. Hulu and ESPN Plus will be available as a bundle with Disney Plus. We've talked about this previously. $13 a month for that bundle. Now, the difference here is that you don't get 4 simultaneous streams of those. At your regular price, the $13 a month for that bundle, you get 2 simultaneous streams for ESPN Plus, and you get 1 for Hulu Basic, which, that's what you're getting if you pay the $13 a month. So 4 simultaneous streams for Disney Plus, 2 for ESPN Plus, and 1 for Hulu. So that's what you're going to be getting on the bundle side of things. Anyway, so let me know if you guys have any questions about that. I'm going to go check the comments again. Caleb brings up a great point, which is that D23 members got a 33% discount, so they got 1/3 off their price, basically $70 off if they signed up for 3 full years of Disney Plus, which most of us are going to be signing up for it and having it until the day we die anyway, so that's a pretty good deal. Let me know if you guys have any questions. The release date, Chris, is November 12th, actually. So the 12th of November, according to our little graphic here, let me pull it up, we have 77 days, 12 hours, and 35 minutes left to go until Disney Plus gets here. I'll be honest, I'm excited for it from a personal standpoint. I want the service. I think it'll be good for me and my family, but I'm also really excited for it to get here just from a business perspective, or from a industry watcher perspective. I have my bets with my coworkers on how big it's going to get and how fast it's going to get there. So I'm really excited for it to get here. Hey Richie, thank you very much. Glad you're here and appreciate the compliment about the channel. Glad you like it. We do try hard, so if you have any suggestions, don't be shy about hitting comments on here or anywhere else, and let us know what you'd like to see, and make it happen. So, let's see. I'm trying to catch up and make sure what happens to Netflix originals of Marvel shows like Punisher and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. As far as I know, Richie, those shows are still Netflix shows. They're Netflix branded, they're Netflix owned, and so Netflix will keep those. There hasn't been any word on whether or when any of those shows will be continued, but I know that for most of them, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, what's the one I'm missing? They didn't do so well. Defenders. Defenders itself didn't do quite so well, but we know kind of through the grapevine that Daredevil and Jessica Jones did quite well. And so who knows? Maybe those could be brought back on Disney Plus for continued seasons, similar to you're seeing old series being picked up by different streaming networks. So could see something like that. I hope so. I liked both of those shows quite a lot. Sorry, Samuel, I don't know anything about the Players Club, so I don't have any opinion on that. Caleb, let's see. Well, right, they were never part of the MCU. They were always separate, so they they kind of existed in the same universe, but it was acknowledged at the time that these two things will not talk to each other or play in the same sandbox. So yeah, they're a little bit different. Anyway, so that's about the news for Disney Plus. Again, as far as we're concerned on this channel and the sort of things that we cover, there's a lot more news out there. So if you're curious about the specific content, we can get some resources. In fact, I will just make sure that if you want to see that preview page that I was looking at, you can check it out right here. That'll take you to the Disney Plus preview page, and you can learn all you want about exactly what they're going to be offering. So, okay, so let's move on to AT&T, which is always seems to be in the news, guys. It's and not always in the best way. It's like a tale of two streaming services. We've got Disney Plus is always in the news because Disney is doing a really great job of creating this avalanche of announcements. This is going to be coming up on November 12th, and look at how cheap it's going to be, and look at how much we're going to offer for that price. So it's just this constant avalanche of information coming out leading up to that November 12th release. On the other hand, you've got AT&T that's constantly in the news, but they're doing things that just make you, wait, what? And so now we have word that AT&T TV, and we'll get into the difference between that and AT&T TV Now, is going to offer several new packages. So if we go check this out, I'm going to pull up another page here that you guys can look at with me. Okay, so we've got AT&T TV, and they're trying to get you all excited for it. No annual contract, no satellite needed, etc., etc. This is not the same thing as DirecTV and all that, so that's great. Well, we're familiar with this. Recently, they raised their prices and thinned the content. So now we have these two versions of AT&T TV Now, and so we've got the Plus, $50 a month for 45 channels. Max is $70 a month for 60 channels. Good news on these is that HBO is included. So is Cinemax on the Max version. So you do get some decent stuff in there, but it is a pretty high price point compared to what we were used to a couple of years ago with other services. Well, if we scroll down now, we've got more packages to look at. Craving even more? Well, maybe you were, because you better be, because now they've got packages that go all the way up to $135 a month, which is incredible, right? This is exactly what everybody was running away from, was this idea of 125 channels in a package for $135 a month. I have to admit, my first instinct is to say, what in the world are you guys thinking? This is insane. This is not what anybody was asking for. Except that we have to remember that if you're a big time cord cutter, I cut the cord years ago, maybe you did as well. Not everybody has, and not everybody particularly wants to. A lot of people really enjoy those large packages with a lot of different channels that they can kind of surf between. And so I wonder if this is just kind of catering to that audience more than it is to the people who are excited about a la carte possibilities and all that sort of thing. So I will let you look at this for just a moment. I'll leave this up while I check out the comments here. Let's see, Gustavo, do you believe once Disney Plus is released, people will crash the app or services? I don't think so. I think they are planning very well for that. So the guy that's running this, who's heading up the effort for Disney Plus, used to run the technology behind HBO Now. HBO Now, the streaming version. And they had some instances where, if you're a longtime viewer on HBO Now of Game of Thrones, especially, but there were some other programs as well, where their servers would crash because so many people wanted to watch on the service. And so he learned a lot from that. He's also talked about how they're learning similar lessons from ESPN Plus, because ESPN Plus does a lot of pay-per-view stuff for MMA. So if you're into MMA, you can go watch that pay-per-view stuff there. And I'm looking into the wrong camera. What was I going to say? Anyway, so they've got this experience, and so they're trying to increase their readiness for just that occasion. So I'm hopeful that they'll be able to handle everything day one. But you know what? Well, no, I'm confident, because if it crashes and burns in the first week, yeah, that would definitely take some wind out of their sails. So for their sake, I hope that they've got that figured out. Yeah, Caleb. Okay, sounds like you and I are on the same page. Let's see. Anything new for Fubo TV? Polly asks about Fubo TV. Will it ever get ESPN? Probably not. Probably not. Now that we're seeing the balkanization of all of these streaming services, my guess, and this is just a guess, is that Fubo will not get ESPN. So if I look into my crystal ball and I look into the future of Fubo TV, I see them doubling down. They're going to need to double down on the fact that this is a soccer watching destination. And so international soccer, US soccer, all that stuff. So I don't see them getting ESPN. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Okay, so Anthony, CBS is not on AT&T now. They are in a dispute. CBS wants you to buy CBS All Access. Yeah, and that's kind of the case across a lot of streaming services that don't get CBS. Let's see. Oh, are they on there now? No, that was the case for a while. Anyway, okay. $135 a month, $1,620 a year. Very nice. It is. Again, I may not be the target market. There may be people who are interested in that. I'm not one of them, and so I'm trying hard to not, to not judge this too harshly. But I will say this. Here's a piece of information that may be kind of new, and that is that the CEO, not of AT&T, that's Randall Stevenson, but the CEO of AT&T Communications, his name is John Donovan, and he is retiring, which is interesting news, especially given the timing. The AT&T hasn't had, like I said, they're constantly in the news as far as streaming stuff, and it's generally with articles and videos like ours that say, like, what in the world are these guys doing? This doesn't make any sense. How are they going to compete against, these other streaming services out there? And anyway, so this guy is out. He is. So a lot of people are saying, was he fired? Was he fired, or did he really retire? We don't know. Nobody knows for sure, for a couple of reasons. I mean, there are some hints. He's 58 years old. The normal retirement age for AT&T, an AT&T executive, is 60. So he's shy of that, but he's retiring anyway. So that might be a clue. But here's the thing: there are executive writers that that stipulate in their contracts when they sign on with a company to say that, even if they are asked to leave or fired or whatever the words are that you want to leave or that you want to use, there are writers in their contracts that say that the company can't say you were fired. So who knows? We don't know exactly what happened there. It could just be that, he said, I'm burned out. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm just going to go hang out with my family and enjoy my, giant pile of CEO money. And that's fine. So anyway, but it is interesting timing. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of those AT&T packages. I'll pull them back up here. We can actually see, oh, hang on just a sec. I can switch over to another screen here. And we can see kind of, what those packages have. So as far as that ultimate package, $135 a month, it does have a lot, but it's not like I guess you would have to decide for yourself whether the channels that you get on this service are any better or better enough from what you get elsewhere to make it worth your while. So if you are going to go with them, you know, the Plus and the Max packages, they actually have HBO built in, and I assume that's going to be a selling point for most people. And then if you get the other ones, you have to add that on top of what you're already paying. Seems like a lot to me. Call me crazy. So, okay, while you take a look at that, let me glance over here. Okay, Players Clubs, IPTV service. Yeah, we generally don't talk about those tiny IPTV services very much, so not something that we're gonna get much into. Caleb, if y'all want CBS or any of the locals, yeah, just get an antenna and a DVR. Absolutely. Yep, we talk about that just about on every on every recommended video or every recommendation video we do. If we're ever saying like, here's the right combination of services, antenna is the first thing you get when you cut the cord. At least could be. So, all right. So we've gotten through some Disney Plus news. We've gotten through some AT&T news. There is a little bit of Roku news as well. And this is just a little thing. I was reading a little bit in Barron's, I think it was, about Roku. And you might be familiar with how massive they are compared to their competitors. But check this out. Of the streaming TV device market. So we're talking about smart TVs as well as devices like sticks and streaming boxes and all that sort of thing. Oh, sorry, I was getting distracted by the comments over here. Anyway, counting the entire market for those devices, Roku, I found out today, has 44% market share when it comes to streaming devices across both smart TVs and the smaller devices themselves, which is incredible. The next one is Amazon Fire TV platforms, Fire Sticks, Fire TV enabled smart TVs. They have 33%, which is a mega number as well. And then on down the line, Google Chrome, Apple TV are lower. I think Apple TV is at like 10 or 12%, something like that. Anyway, so just this is my chance to cheerlead a little bit. I love Roku. I'm curious what you guys use and, whether you like it, whether you're thinking about switching. I've enjoyed Roku for a long time. I've even been made fun of in the comments every once in a while because people are like, well, Roku is for streaming novices, don't you want to be an advanced streamer? And I'm like, well, it might be for novices, but that's because it's so easy. And I appreciate how easy Roku is. And so anyway, I've always liked them. Jared, Apple TV 4K. That is, as far as just the pinnacle of an awesome device. I love the Apple TV 4K. It's just at that price point, it's hard for me to cheer for it the same way that I can for a $40 Roku stick. Let's see, Derek. Let me go back. What's better streaming service? Fubo, PS View. I would refer you to our previous reviews of those services. Let's see. Okay, so Samuel used the Amazon Fire Stick. Chris, Roku and Apple TV, both 4K. Very nice. Kelly, you love the Roku. Good person. Caleb, I have a Roku Stick Plus, Amazon Fire Stick. Yeah, I actually, in this room, if I dare show you my messy room back here, that's the TV right there that I use for a lot of the testing that we do on the channel, and I've got a Amazon Fire Stick set up on that one. Then the one I use to actually do most of my watching is up on the wall over there. That's a Roku, and so sometimes I'll go and hook up on this one behind me. There it is. I'll hook up Apple TV or whatever and use those there. Chromecast. Sean, you use a Chromecast. I'm going to be doing a Chromecast video later this week. It's going to be kind of a really, really basic instructional video for somebody who just bought a Chromecast. Kind of how to set it up, how to screen mirror, how to cast to your Chromecast. So I'm going to look for any little tidbits that I might throw in there. If there are any suggestions you have, Sean or anybody else on the chat with your Chromecast, if there's anything you think, oh, this would be great, a great piece of info for a new Chromecast user, let me know. I can throw that in that video that I'll be doing later this week. Okay. Samuel, who do I think is the best internet provider? I'm so glad you asked. We're doing a pivot right now from, almost entirely streaming content. We've been doing that for, 6 months at least. And we're going to be talking about internet service providers here in the coming weeks. We've already started laying the groundwork. And so if you saw last week, we released some videos about kind of laying the groundwork for talking about internet services. So we talked about internet speeds, upload, download speeds, and the differences between cable and fiber and DSL for gamers, that sort of thing. And so that's all laying the groundwork. So as of right now, I do not officially have an opinion because I try to go into, we're going to be doing a lot of reviews and talking about the different services. And I try not to have a rigid opinion about which ones are great and which ones are terrible. I'm going to do a lot of research here coming up and decide for myself and, talk a lot with the Reviews.org internet guru. We do have one of those, believe it or not. And together we will come up with what we think are the best ISPs out there. If you have any specific questions, you can let us know in the comments and we can try to address those in upcoming videos. Okay, let's see. Jared, you're looking to buy another streaming device. Does the Roku streaming stick deliver well? What are you using now? So what are we comparing it to? Larry, I've got a Roku TV, Hisense. That's I use the TCL brand, but yeah, I love my Roku TV. I don't know anything about Lion Guard. Let's see. Amazon Fire Stick has no deal for Disney Plus streaming. Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that last week. That's crazy. I can't imagine that will last. If they're not available, if Amazon Fire TV doesn't support Disney Plus on day one, I'll be shocked, and I'll be even more shocked if they don't support it within a very short time frame after that. Okay, let's see. Stick performs better than the TVs. Sometimes it does. Depends on the age of the TV. Depends on what hardware they have loaded into the TV. Sometimes the cheap TVs have cheap hardware in them. So sometimes that's true. Let's see. Gustavo, you like soccer a lot. Fubo is expensive though. Depends on which soccer you like. If you like Central and South American and European soccer, then Fubo has tons and tons of that. If you're mostly looking for MLS content, just go to ESPN Plus, $5 a month. Better bet there. Let's see. Disney Plus have locals? Nope. No locals on Disney Plus. Not that kind of service. This is more like Netflix and less like Sling. Let's see, I'm trying to race through some of these. What I was going to, let's see. Somebody had a question about whether it's whether you should get a Roku streaming stick. Oh, that's right, Jared, looking to get another streaming device. Let's see. Oh, I missed that. Jason 4552 coming in from the UK. Yeah, it's probably not mostly relevant to you, but I'm glad to have you. It's awesome. Okay, so Jared was wondering about buying another stick. Okay, so you've got a Fire TV stick. It's laggy watching PlayStation View. Well, obviously, PlayStation View was built for a PlayStation, so if you've got a PS4, watching on that. But otherwise, I do watch PlayStation View on my Roku. I've got a Streaming Stick Plus over here on the other side of the room, and that one works great. I've also watched it on my Roku TV that's now pushing 3 years old, and it still works great there. I haven't had any lag problems, so it kind of depends on which Fire Stick you're using. If it's an older model, then maybe consider splurging, what is it, 30, 40, $50 to get a new Fire Stick. If you like that platform, if you enjoy it, and you just need a faster device, if yours is a little older, maybe consider upgrading. Okay. Sorry, I know I've missed a few comments, so if I missed yours, I apologize. Let's see. Okay, I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything. Will there ever be a streaming live TV service that does sports only? There is! It's called ESPN Plus. It just doesn't have maybe all the sports you're looking for. So, ESPN Plus just they do have, they have MLB content and NFL content and all that stuff. It's just really select. So if you've ever used something like MLB TV or NBA TV, then they'll often have a free game of the day. I know NHL TV does this as well. The free game of the day is, they kind of like blast that out there. And so a service like ESPN Plus picks that up and they'll broadcast it as well. So you can get those games in other places also. But ESPN Plus is more about niche sports as well as soccer, MMA, big one I'm trying to think of. Oh, well, you guys can remind me in the comments. Okay. I am going to call it here in just a moment. I'll tell you, Samuel, do we do all tech stuff like cell phones and CPUs? We don't get into some of the nitty gritty with things like CPUs. What we try to do is we talk about home tech. So whether that's services or products, these are things that, it's all about making your home smarter, making your home homier. And CPUs is probably a little bit too granular for us, at least right now. Who knows? Down the line, we may end up doing that. But right now, it's more about streaming services. If you go over to Reviews.org, we do talk about traditional TV services, cable and satellite, talk about internet service providers, home security, home automation, that sort of thing. So that's a lot of the topics that we cover. If you're looking for, something to get that granular about CPUs, there are a few other channels that I could recommend that I love. But anyway, so we are going to get, though, I'm glad you brought up cell phones. That is a topic that we will get to down the road. Right now, like I said, for the last 6 months or so, it's been a lot of streaming stuff. And now we're getting into internet service providers. The cell phones and cell phone plans, that is something that we plan to get into down the road. So if you're looking forward to that, make sure you're subscribed. I should also mention that, since you're all here, make sure that you check the description of this video for our giveaways page. If you haven't seen this, you can go over to our giveaways page. We're almost constantly doing giveaways now at Reviews.org, and you can enter to win in those. It's pretty simple. A lot of like these videos, share these videos, that sort of thing will help get you entries to do giveaways. So we're doing, we give away TVs and Apple TV, and I think right now it's a subscription to NFL Sunday Ticket. I can't remember if that one's still going on, but you can go check it out. So Jason, here's what I'll do. I'm going to go to reviews.org/giveaways, and I'm going to give you that. Jason, I do believe that's right. You're in the UK. I forgot about that. I believe that this is US only, if I'm not mistaken. So sorry about that. But it is incredibly expensive to ship overseas, as I'm sure you and all of us know. And so, yeah, I believe it's US only. I can go over and double check. Yep, 18 years old and legal resident of the US. So, sorry about that. Okay, you guys, I'm going to call it there. We've been going, good heavens, 40 minutes of streaming. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. We're here every Monday, so set your alarms. I don't know why you do that, but what you can do is hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button, and that way when we go live, you will be notified. You can pop in, ask me any questions you've got. We always have a subject that we want to go talk about in these live streams, but I also try to reserve a little bit of time, like we've done throughout this video, for me to answer questions that you guys have. So hope to see you again next week. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon, and tell your friends. If you enjoy the channel, refer us, share the videos, share the channel. We really greatly appreciate that. It helps us more than you know. And check out that giveaways page. All right, everybody, I will see you next week.